Welcome everybody! I'm Kate from KatyDid. I'm delighted to present Volume 2 of Rock Around the World. This is a series that I started to kind of feature some of the rockhounds of YouTube and find out a little bit more about them. How did they start rockhounding? Why do they keep doing it? And finally, what kind of advice do they have for somebody who's just starting out? So come along, let's meet the crew. Our first question then, how did you become a rockhound?
Hello from Canada, eh? I'm meMiner. This is my dog Daisy. She's been a rockhound her whole life.
Find the gold. Where is it? Good girl.
I've always loved to explore in the outdoors, hunting, fishing, camping, hiking. So rock collecting is a natural. I got my start on a ski trip to Vail, Colorado. Very close by was a town called Leadville, and I was fascinated they were still getting placer gold in their creeks. I thought, man, that's something I'd like to do. Bought my first gold pan there, bought some books, ended up with gold fever, so I bought more equipment, acquired some claims in British Columbia on Antler Creek, took courses in geology at the University of Toronto, prospector's course put on by the government of Ontario, read every book I could get my hands on because that was prior to the internet.
1.2 grams.
Now there's just a ton of information online, which is really helpful.
Look at that.
And had a lot of fun.
Cooloo-coo-coo-coo-coo-coo. Cooloo-coo-coo-coo-coo-coo. Welcome to Canada. We're ootin' a boot and looking for gold.
One thing though, I noticed there was nice, pretty stones in my concentrates, and I wondered what they were. As I learned more about them, I became more and more fascinated with rocks and learned that there was a plethora to collect right here in Ontario. The rest, they say, is history.
Come join me.
Hello everybody, and hello Kate, and thank you for having me on the channel. Thank you for doing this and connecting all of the seekers and finders and the community from around the world. In answer to the first question, why do I rockhound? It's something that I have done my whole entire life. My parents were real outdoorsy people, so my family would be outdoors 4 or 5 days a week, and rockhounding was one of the main activities. And just like any other outdoor thing, fishing, hunting, anything, the adventure and getting there oftentimes was the treasure and the good memory. And so as I was raising my family, my 3 girls, that's what we did. I tried to get them outside whenever I could, and still to this day, rockhounding is one of the main activities that gets me out there and gives me an excuse to stop and check in a creek or a gravel bed or wherever that I just normally wouldn't. So, a reason for the quest.
Hey everyone, this is MamLambo, a rockhound and fossil hunter. Well, how I got into rockhounding. I remember as a kid going to my grandparents' house in Kimberley, which is where they mine diamonds in South Africa. And we used to go to the mine dumps and have a look there for diamonds. Never found a diamond, but we always came away with a whole bunch of cool rocks. We also went for holidays to Golden Gate, which is on the border of South Africa and Lesotho. And in those mountains there's just agates and crystals and all sorts in the little rivers. When I came over to New Zealand, it was a good way to meet people. Joined the local rock club, went on some outings, then of course discovered fossils nearby, so started doing that a bit more.
So when I was a little kid, my family would always take trips down to the Gulf Coast in Florida for vacation. And I remember spending so much time looking for shells on the beach, or diving or snorkeling for sand dollars, or trying to find amazing treasures in the ocean. But I think I carried those experiences with me into adulthood, and when my wife and I moved to Billings, Montana, just a few years ago to start my grad school, I couldn't help myself from exploring some of the rocks in the Yellowstone River and started to discover what I thought were some pretty interesting rocks, which turned out to be jasper. But in the process of doing that and doing some research, I found out you could find agates and petrified wood and all other sorts of cool things out here. And I started going out and exploring more and more and finding more and more interesting things and sort of realizing what I was looking for. And I still remember finding my first agate, which I didn't even know was an agate when I found it. But ever since then, I've just been hooked.
So the thing that really sparked my want to become a rockhound, I didn't become an actual rockhound until later, but as a little kid, my dream, and honestly in the back of my brain still is to this day, is becoming a paleontologist. And it just so happens that about 45 minutes from where I live is a mountain that is just riddled with fossils. So I would get taken there quite regularly when I was a kid. And that just really lit that fire of loving rocks. For the rest of my life, I was looking down. But what really actually got me hooked on rockhounding was, funny enough, one of those dinky little sift-your-own gem bags. And I don't even mean like gem bags from a mine or anything. I mean, you know, those little $10 bags you get at a mini golf course or something. Got one from Reptile Gardens and got through and had some fun identifying everything online. And the more I looked, the more I realized that I can actually find all of that stuff in Montana. So it started this huge journey of going out and trying to find what else I could find in Montana, and that kind of snowballed, obviously, because now I have a YouTube channel and a shop where I sell rocks and fossils.
Well, howdy all. I'm not used to being on this side of the camera. Most of my videos you see, I just show you the main stuff and the best of the best. But here goes. Became a rockhound a long time ago, about 1962. I was about 7 years old. I was at my uncle's house in the basement watching him caught Montana agate in Roundup, Montana, and I was hooked. And I sat down there for hours and hours watching his machines cut them agates, his pulling them out, and looking at them, and I was just totally amazed. And he was just telling me, why don't you go out and play with your cousins and your brothers? I says, no, I like it down here. And he says, you're kind of a weird duck. But yeah, I fell for the rocks ever since, and that's how I got hooked. 3 uncles took me under their wings rockhounding in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They taught me everything they knew, and I kind of went from there, so second generation hounder.
Question number 2, what keeps you rockhounding?
I continue to rockhound because it's fun, challenging, and capricious.
Stay here. Get back, Dave. Get back.
I'm always curious about what could be found in a new site, over the next hill, or in a hole I just dug. See that? I probably would have stopped rockhounding a long time ago if it was easy, boring, or predictable. Bottom line is I am delighted by nature's bounty and the treasures that can be found there.
Continue to rockhound basically because I can't stop. As I was raising my 3 girls, I wanted to do a lot of outdoor activities, and so I went and tried to drag them around everywhere outside that I could, and while I was doing that it was like non-stop. I can't stop myself. I'm always looking for details, of course, and all the little things, and just transfixed and fascinated with all the beautiful parts of the world. So rocks, of course, every time that they're wet or shiny or right in front of your face can draw your attention and highlight the variety of this planet.
I think the appeal for me for rockhounding is you get to explore new places, you get to relax, you're in the outdoors. Yeah, you're just taking your time, having a look everywhere, and just the adventure, finding new places, new spots, meeting new people. I mean, there's places I've gone to that I would never have gone to if it wasn't for rock hounding or fossil hunting. And every now and again you find something really spectacular. And yeah, I think you'd probably just chase that feeling again and again. You want that feeling of finding something for the first time, that's something new.
For me, rock hounding is so much more than just about finding rocks. And I think what really keeps me coming back are the experiences of just getting away from the world, getting outside in nature where you feel like you can breathe and you don't have to think about what you have to do next. And everything else, especially the rocks, are just like an awesome bonus after that. Because I walk away from my rock hounding trips, even if they're just short, like an hour or two, I walk away feeling so revitalized, so refreshed, and ready to tackle the day.
For me, what keeps me at it is obviously, you know, that idea of finding an amazing treasure when you go out is very attractive, but that is not the main reason I love rock hounding. The reason I love rock hounding is because I am a person who is disappointed in myself if I haven't learned something new every day. I love gaining new knowledge and information and new skills and all that kind of stuff. So this is like the perfect hobby for people like me because no matter how much experience you get under your belt, no matter how long you do it, you will never know everything there is to know about rocks, minerals, and fossils. There's way too much, so there's always something new to learn. And now through my shop and my YouTube channel, the other main reason I keep at it is so that I can spread the love of rocks to other people, because a lot of people don't realize what kind of treasures are just right there in their backyard.
There's no reason not to do it. I just love being out with nature and the mountains. And you can listen to the creeks when you're close to the creeks, hounding the deer, the antelope. I've seen it all out there. No people. I like that the best. And you don't know what you're going to find. It just totally amazes me, the beauty that nature can pull out. I'll never give it up. I've got grandkids now that I'm getting into it now. We have 12 grandkids and about 8 of them are into it. So no, this old goat's not stopping.
And the final question is, what advice do you have for new rock hounds? Let's see what they have to say.
If I was to offer one bit of good advice to a new rock hound, it would be join one of your local clubs. Rock people are good people. Most will share their knowledge. You'll get invited to locations that you'll have difficulty otherwise getting permission, and you will have fun. See you in the field. Bye for now.
For anybody just getting started in rock hounding, I would just say follow your heart, just like anything else, any other art you're doing, anything that you're going to pursue in life. Follow what you like, what you're interested in, what you're curious about, what you want to learn about. Don't worry about being overwhelmed with all the facts of any one category. Just, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that is really the main rule, I guess, for rock hounding, I would say. So just follow your intuition on what is beautiful to you and what you want to find, what you feel is treasure, and let that be your guidelines and your boundaries for what is cool.
One thing I could suggest, for me it was joining a local rock club. It's probably not possible for everyone, but I was really lucky. The Canterbury Rock Club here in New Zealand, really nice people, and I learned a lot, and they showed me a whole bunch of new places to go to. Thanks for including me, Kate. Really appreciate it.
And if I had to give advice to somebody who's new to rock hounding or who's interested in getting into rock hounding, the biggest thing I could say is just be patient and enjoy rock hounding for the whole entirety of the experience. When I first got started, it took me months and months of looking before I finally realized sort of what I was looking for, what these agates looked like. And so you have to really teach your brain and teach your eyes what to look for. So you're not going to find tons of amazing rocks right away. So just be patient. And then also, like I said, enjoy the experience for what it is. Enjoy being outside. Let yourself be refreshed by nature. And I think that's what's really going to maximize your experience and make rock hounding a really enjoyable, refreshing hobby.
I think my biggest pieces of advice for beginners would be books are your best friend. The Montana Rock Hounding Montana book was a huge asset to get into rock hounding because it actually taught you where to go. And not only that, but once you start going to those sites, you start picking up an eye for actually identifying, you know, deposits and things like that. Another big piece, huge piece, is always make sure you can legally collect where you are, because yeah, you may be finding some awesome stuff, but you may not actually be able to collect there. But on the flip side of that, finding some BLM maps can actually be awesome, because that can actually show you places right by home that you never would have thought that you would have been able to hunt at in the first place. So, and then lastly, I would say never be afraid to branch out from your comfort zone. So I know a lot of people will go out and they're purely fossil hunters, or they're purely river rockhounds, or purely crystal diggers. Don't ever be afraid to branch out, because one of the best things about rock hounding is getting to do all of those things and experiencing every facet of rock hounding. Also, if you get into carving and stuff, it opens up a whole new world, because some of the most boring rocks when you're just a rock hound turn into some of the prettiest rocks when you're a carver. So again, just never be afraid to branch out and try new things.
Might I have for someone starting out, don't get discouraged. I've been at this a long time, and it took me a long time to get the equipment to do what I'm doing now, but it was well worth the wait. If you continue on, you'll start meeting more people that are into this lapidary rock hounding, and some of them are retiring out and want to get rid of their equipment, and some of them will sell their equipment, and you just never know. Just keep pushing on and doing what you're doing, and I love doing it. Like I said, don't get discouraged. Keep on rocking.
I just want to give a giant thank you to all the folks who submitted footage to this Rock Around the World. I appreciate all of you so very much. And I hope those of you who are watching that you go and subscribe to every one of their channels if you're not already. This is Kate from KatyDid. Keep on doing.